Welcome, wrestling fans, to the PW Fan. The PW Fan is a pro wrestling podcast created by fans for the fans. And thank you for joining us. We are here for episode 59. I'm your host, the grumpy old school wrestling fan, collector, barber, musician, the guy with too many titles, talk wrestling, Tim Gilbert.
And I'm your host, the architect of pro wrestling podcast, Funko Pop collector, Steelers fan. They are off this week. Thank God they need a break from losing. And
former trap god.
Oh my God! Please cut that. Terrible.
That's saying it now.
Oh my God!
And I'm also your host, the no wrestling indie fan and football lover, Jeremy.
In this episode, we will be discussing Crown Jewel, Daddy Ass having a birthday bash, Bray Wyatt, and more. Hey, but like always, before we get started, please head on over to YouTube and search the PW Fan. But guess what? I don't know what happened. I got an email that said that we can have a URL now. So now you can you can officially search at the PW Fan Pod, because some asshole out there took the PW Fan, the regular one. So hey, fuck you. Delete your account. All right, anyway.
There can only be one.
There can only be one. What the hell? You're using a good URL. All right, anyways. You can find us on all other social media at the PW Fan like usual. We got shirts on Pro Wrestling Tees, 3 different designs. We've had a couple people lately close to us buy some shirts, so thank you guys so much. We really appreciate that. Really cool to see other podcasts and friends supporting us. And as soon as you guys drop a shirt, and you know who you are, we're going to get one of your shirts too. And all right, well, I think that takes care of all the intro stuff. Stick around for later in the show where we talk about the classic show of the week, classic live event of the week, classic pay-per-view, classic premium live event, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Stick around.
Dude,
we're going to be talking about.
I will never call it a premium live event.
Pay-per-view, baby.
My buddies text me
PLE?
and say PLE, and I always have to be like, what is that? Oh, yeah. I still say pay-per-view.
Pay-per-view. All right. Well, Andy, take it over, man. You got it.
Alrighty. We're going to start with Raw, as always, this week for WWE, because of Crown Jewel on Saturday. All their shows were, like I always say, go-home shows for the pay-per-view. Getting in some last-minute stuff that will roll over. Raw opened up this past week with a pull-apart brawl between Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar.
Triple H got in there.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah. I was like, is this the brawl where he got involved? Yeah, he came out here, and he's like, keep them separated. Yeah, locker room dumped out. Triple H came out, I think he said he yelled, like, if they touch each other, the match is off, or something like that.
Yeah, which I never really understood, but yeah.
No, he's not going to call off the match.
Yeah.
We had I want to say, actually, pretty good match. Seth Rollins versus Austin Theory. Winner was Seth Rollins, but look, I hate Theory, but he's good. He's good. I'll give him that.
Yeah. He's good at his character. That's why you hate him.
Nice prospect, but yeah, he's good. He makes me hate him, so that's good. He's like how the Miz is, but.
Just remember all the guys that you hated growing up that when they come back 20 years later, you're like, oh man, this guy's great.
It's too soon for Theory for that.
It's too soon, but I'm just saying, don't forget.
Yeah.
JBL. You hated JBL. I remember when we were kids, you hated JBL.
It's because I liked Eddie Guerrero so much.
I still don't like JBL.
Yeah, he sucks. Still. Never really cared for Bradshaw, but it was because I liked Eddie Guerrero so much, and he was the one that took the title off him. And then he started feuding with Undertaker, who I liked a lot as well. So,
do you remember that chair shot from JBL to Eddie Guerrero?
Never forget.
One of the craziest of all time.
Never forget. So Johnny Gargano revealed in a video that Miz had hired Dexter Lumis originally to basically do what celebrities do and get a story, fake a story to get his popularity back or something. And Miz didn't pay him, so Dexter wanted his revenge on him. I don't know where this silly storyline's going.
Yeah.
I feel like it's leading to a feud with Johnny Gargano and Miz, but I I'm not sure.
You know what
Miz had a match, and Gargano was dressed up as Loomis in the audience. And...
Yeah. When it first started, the storyline, I was like, all right, Dexter Loomis looks kind of cool. Like, he could be kind of a cool character, but he's like, I don't know, now he's like a goofy character now.
Yeah, I feel, he was kind of goofy towards the end in NXT, but when he was married to Indy Hartwell, and he was part of the Way family.
Oh.
Johnny. After that, I think it was our main event of Raw. It was Damage Control, who were the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, versus Asuka and Alexa Bliss. And they actually put the belts on Asuka and Alexa Bliss in the end. I can't remember if it was to the involvement of Nikki Cross or not, but yeah, Asuka and Alexa became your new champions. But we will get back to them later when we get to Crown Jewel. That wrapped up Raw. Again, every time we do a pod after right before pay-per-view, it kind of goes this way. We're going to do a deep dive into Crown Jewel mainly. That's where, we're really going to get into stuff. But until then, the show's going to plow through these other shows pretty quickly. But let's get to Dynamite. Dynamite was in Baltimore, Maryland. They came through on a Wednesday. Quarterback Lamar Jackson in the stands.
Guys,
and,
I'm not
Rick
going to
Ross
lie.
is there.
Let me just throw this out here real quick. I don't know about you. I don't want any creepos out there to come stalk our houses or anything, but we all live in the general vicinity. We could get there pretty quickly, let's say. And let me ask you this. There was no part of me that was like, oh, man, I wish I was there. Like, usually,
I'll tell you, if it was WWE, I would have.
But we went to the last Dynamite.
We went in May the 4th.
The last one we went to, though, sucked.
Yeah, they really let us down at that one, to be honest. It was a fun show to go to. It was the three of us. We had a good time. We got to see wrestling and, be with other wrestling fans. And it was a really great night to hang with you guys. But overall, CM Punk, that was the night, if there's any fans listening, the infamous Hangman Adam Page saying, well, guess what? CM Punk isn't here tonight. And literally the entire energy in the whole room died. Yeah, we were there.
There was no CM Punk, no FTR.
Yeah,
was there no MJF either?
No MJF.
No MJF. But there was nothing this time that was like, oh, we needed to go. Because clearly they don't think of us as a market.
They don't think of Baltimore
as
a
good
market.
I'm trying to
we deserve a good show.
Mania in Philly in 2 years, so...
Yeah,
me
too.
That's going to be my
honest.
next show.
That's
the
big one.
Show I'm going to.
I was thinking about it. If I put $100 a month away until tickets go on sale, I'll have enough for my ticket. It's really not that bad.
Yeah. So, I had one of our listeners, Chris, who we gave a shout out last week. He was there. He
Chris,
was almost
we love you,
front
buddy.
row. He was almost front row, I believe, from the pictures I saw on Instagram.
Shout out to Chris.
Oh, nice.
I think I saw him on TV. And then my buddy went to his first AEW show. He does not watch AEW. His friend took him there, and he had some words to say about AEW. Tim posted the conversation.
It actually is one of our more...
it
was actually one of our more interacted Instagram story posts. Just a lot of people either putting the laughing emoji or liking it with the heart, or we even got one message that said, I mean, he's not wrong.
So basically, I asked him how he liked it, and he ended up saying, he said, I do not like AEW. And of course, he went on to tell me why, and basically he said there was too many botches. That was kind of his big thing. He said there was too many botches. Talking about one during the Jericho and Colt match, one during Darby, landing on his head against Jay Lethal. I don't know. He was just not a fan. He liked the daddy ass stuff because he likes Billy Gunn and all that, but he was not a fan. And, after the Tony Khan thing, talked about not training people or whatever, and yeah, whatever. I mean, AEW does have way more botches than WWE. I don't know if it's a complete or a good reason to not like the product as a whole, but
I did. I mean, look, I did think that overall. I was like, I mean, that's kind of a funny reason to be like, overall, I don't like AEW, but I get to a degree what he's saying.
But like Jeremy had said, I think before we got on air, he's like, it wasn't that great of a Dynamite though. So like, if that was your first, it's like, all right, I guess.
That's 2 misses in a row, Tony. And Baltimore used to be a great wrestling town.
Oh,
it would have been worse if he went to the one last year we went to.
You know, in Philly, they would do a great, awesome.
No,
show.
but I think
it's just a Baltimore thing.
It's BS though, because Baltimore is a great wrestling market. First of all, everybody that grew up in Maryland and Baltimore watched WCW and WWE, so they were huge wrestling fans. We got both channels. We got the North and the South. And, I mean, that's when Andy and I watched when we were kids. And then, not only that, but you had the Great American Bash. There's a lot of wrestling.
Ring of Honor was based out of Baltimore.
Yeah, like, I don't understand why you're not showing Baltimore any love when you come through. You kind of give Baltimore, like, the shitty end of the shows. I'm just saying, like, as somebody who went, and I've been to a lot of WWE shows where there's been some badass shows, it's like, I don't know what well, you know what? I will say one thing. To be fair, they did give Baltimore the first full year, and Andy and I did go there.
That was at the Baltimore Arena, though. That was a way bigger show than...
Yeah, it was a big show, but since the Dynamites that they give us have not been the best. And I don't know what the deal is. I don't know if it's because Maryland Athletic Commission fined
right.
At the full
AEW. Yeah, so I wonder if they give us really kind of toned down shows or something because of that. I don't know.
That's a good point.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Either way, I mean, the Dynamite, like I said, that was there this week. It was whatever. So let's get into it as we're talking about it. So it opened up with Darby Allin versus Jay Lethal. In the end, I believe Jay Lethal won. They had a guy in a Sting mask out there, and it was revealed afterwards to be, or did Darby win? And then they attacked. Now I'm trying to remember.
I can't remember the ending.
Either way. Yeah. The point of why I bring it up is because afterwards, the guy in the Sting match was revealed to be Jeff Jarrett, and Jeff Jarrett took a guitar to Darby's back. And then
his head.
He cut a promo, and I mean, I know he teamed up with Jay Lethal in the Ric Flair match. I know they're buddies.
Yeah.
And Jeff Jarrett's like TNA music was playing. I couldn't tell, whether he's going to be in AEW for just a short stunt, or if he's... I mean, they haven't announced if he's all elite, but it seems like
he's all elite.
He is?
Yeah, he's also the director of something backstage. I forget what Tony Khan said.
Well, no more coming in as a referee for an Usos match during the SummerSlam,
yeah,
I guess. Well, that answers that question. So he is going to be around. I mean, that's a cool addition. I'm sure he'll probably get the Sting treatment and like wrestle a few matches and kind of be careful.
Yeah.
And they had their
He just wrestled Effie in GCW. He doesn't need to be special treatment.
Okay.
Be careful.
Sorry, I didn't know that. I thought his last match was like with the Ric Flair match.
No, dude. He's been doing GCW stuff.
Gotcha.
He's the director of business development for AEW now.
Well, I think it's a smart move.
He's like, I am the chosen one. We're gonna change the name of AEW to TNA. Wait, sorry.
We had an interview with Saraya. Britt Baker was supposed to be a part of it, but she did not show up. I'm trying to remember what Saraya talked about exactly, but
she made that line about like, "There's one more doctor I need to get."
That's right. Okay, so that was kind of the big takeaway from it is that, Renee asked her if she was cleared. She said she wanted to check with one more doctor, and then she'd let us know. I think this coming week.
Yeah, they have a face-to-face this week in the ring. So
he's checking with Dr.
Well, that match, Britt Baker versus Saraya, I really hope they don't do like a Winter is Coming. I hope they make it for full year.
It should be for full year.
Yeah. I mean, that's a big time match between those two. We had Chris Jericho doing an open challenge, or kind of an open challenge for the ROH World Title for a mystery opponent. And usually his matches for the ROH World Title were supposed to be against former ROH World Champions. Well, the guy that came out is not a former ROH World Champion. He's had a tag. I couldn't find anything. I know he's been like at least a tag champ and something else, but Colt Cabana came out. He is technically a part of the ROH roster, but he ended up coming out, which I don't know if that kind of shows you where they're headed with the whole CM Punk thing of, what their decision is.
I'll say that I was happy for Colt because he looked so happy to be back on TV and wrestling again. Like, I know he's been doing behind-the-scenes stuff, but,
yeah.
I mean, he doesn't seem like a mean person. So, I'm, still happy for him, at least.
Well, they had a match for the ROH World Title. Jericho, of course, ended up winning. And it was later announced that at Full Gear, they might have announced it on Rampage, but if they didn't, I just didn't write down. But it is going to be a fatal 4-way at Full Gear for the ROH World Title. It'll be Claudio, Bryan Danielson, Jericho, and Sammy Guevara. So, 4 guys, each of the set of 2 are, in the same group, but they're all going to be going against each other.
I mean, at least Jericho gets Ring of Honor, on the map. It makes sense.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, it's kind of a similar reason why they made Jericho the first AEW World Champion.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of, taking the page out of that exact thing that they already did. And our winner, or our main event, was Samoa Joe versus Brian Cage for the TNT Championship. Winner was Samoa Joe, but the takeaway I got from this final segment is that it looks like Hobbs, who came out at the end, it looks like he's going to be next in line for a shot at... or I say Samoa Joe versus Brian Cage for the TNT Championship.
That's the Ring of Honor.
It was supposed to be Ring of Honor Television Championship, but it looks like Hobbs is going for Wardlow's TNT Championship.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah,
that's sorry. Everyone has belts. Everyone's out in the ring at one time. Which I feel like, if you're gonna have a guy take the belt off of Wardlow, Hobbs is a good choice. I don't know if that's what they're going to do, but I think previously we had read that Hobbs was going to get some kind of push.
It would be kind of cool to see him, because I feel like him or Starks kind of deserve something, at least after they split up. I think they're both really good.
What? On Dynamite?
On Rampage.
On Rampage, yeah.
Yeah, he's in the world title or title eliminator or whatever they're doing.
When in doubt, when you don't have a storyline,
tournament.
Just throw a tournament. Yeah. That wraps up Dynamite, at least from my end. Let's get into SmackDown. Liv Morgan faced off in a no disqualification match against Sonya Deville. They keep throwing her in these hardcore matches and showing how crazy she can be and how crazy and kind of heelish her character is now. Liv ended up winning the match. I guess she keeps coming out dressed as Chucky. Though she wasn't. She was in the show. She was featured in the television show, so maybe that's why.
Yeah. Right.
And it is on USA. So she ended up winning the match. We'll just have to wait and see where her character kind of continues to go from here. We had Ricochet versus LA Knight. This actually was a really good match. It showcased both guys really well. LA Knight was the winner, but I got the vibe that this isn't kind of over. I forget what happened, but I don't think Ricochet lost 100% cleanly, if I'm not mistaken. I think something happened, maybe a distracted ref or something. But no, he pulled the tights. LA Knight pulled the tights and then held onto the rope. Is what happened at the end. So, no, I'd like to see more of these two. That was a fun match. When you pair 2 guys that are good workers against each other, it creates, watchable, entertaining stuff.
It's nice to see Ricochet on TV all the time, too.
Yeah. We had a backstage segment with Bray Wyatt where he talked about being interrupted, and then some worker walked by in the background, and they were like, we're live right now. And Bray went up to him, basically told the man to apologize to him. The stuff with Bray, I'll talk about when we get the crown jewel. It's just he hasn't had a match back yet. They're just planting the seeds slowly for something, and I hope it's really good, whatever the payoff is.
Yeah,
because the seeds planted for his return, the payoff was, I thought, really done really well. And so now
it wasn't dragged on too long.
Yeah,
either.
And so
because him doing promos like this is cool right now. Hopefully, within another 2 weeks.
I would say by the next pay-per-view, have a match or something. Have a match or something. Crown Jewel's done. He came back at Extreme Rules. Crown Jewel's done, so new storylines can be, made. Our next pay-per-view is Survivor Series War Games, which they've changed from a 4-on-4 to a 5-on-5. Hopefully, I would think it's an easy, way to go about it, at least for the men's. You have the Bloodline, which is 5 people, versus some other team. But we'll have to wait and see. We had Shayna Baszler kind of rediscovering her killer instinct this week with Ronda by her side. She took out or had a match with Natalya and basically choked her out. She's kind of back to the Queen of Spades killer that she was in NXT. Yeah, she fell off for a little bit, but I think Tim, you liked Shayna Baszler in NXT, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I like Shayna Baszler in general. I feel like she really never did anything when it came to the main roster. I don't know.
So, well, would you like to see her, kind of in a prominent spot again?
Well, it's just part of me is is it too late because you never did anything with her?
Nah. Not too late.
There's still time?
Yeah, I mean, if Triple H seems to be doing that with a bunch of people that have fallen off. He took LA Knight, who was doing the friggin' male modeling thing, and now he's doing stuff. And
yeah, I guess that's true. That's a good point.
Just have to wait and see. I mean, it's fans like you, man, that won't let it happen. If you're just is it too late, man? Our main event, though, was Rey Mysterio versus Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship.
Ray got thrown around in this.
It was a good match, though. Ray is the king of small guy versus big guy matches, and making it seem believable at times that he might get one over. I mean, I think we all kind of thought that it would have been too early to take it off of Gunther, but he still, Gunther made him look good. He. That's what you want to see. You don't want Ray to not seem like he could take the belt off of Gunther. And at times, there were things he did that you were like, oh, maybe they pulled the trigger on it. But good match. I just don't know where they go from here because, I mean, they could have made a storyline out of it if they wanted to.
What is Ray retiring now? Storyline wise?
I don't know. I mean, Gunther doesn't have a storyline. Ray doesn't have a storyline. But Survivor Series, maybe you have Seth Rollins versus Gunther if it's Intercontinental versus United States.
Be a good match.
That's an interesting matchup. But that's all I had for SmackDown. Until we get to Crown Jewel, we can talk more about WWE. But Rampage this week, I think this match, Jeremy, the opener?
Yeah.
We had Orange Cassidy versus, sorry if I botched the name, Katsuyori Shibata. I just know they call him Shibata all the time, basically.
Pretty good.
Shibata. For the All-Atlantic Championship. Winner was Orange Cassidy. Shibata probably more than I do, don't you, Jeremy?
Yeah, Jeremy's going to have to take over on Shibata on this one.
Yeah, take over this match. Say your thoughts on it.
This is pretty cool. I mean, because, I feel like they explained it pretty well on commentary a little bit, or at least they put it over that Shibata was, retired and everything, and with an injury as well. And so he came back in Forbidden Door, that pay-per-view. That was the first time he actually came back.
What was it in, the 3 or the 6-man or something?
Yeah, it was. I forget who he came back against. Was it Osprey? I think.
No,
I don't
because
know.
Orange Cassidy faced Osprey.
Yeah, but it was like after the match, he like showed up. That was one of the things.
Oh yes.
Yeah, and like the crowd went
and
crazy.
then,
Like,
okay.
yeah. So that was actually his first time actually coming back, like in wrestling. But obviously he usually does more for New Japan. But yeah, this was, to me, it was pretty cool to see it on like free TV. And
Well, I will say, Rampage was live this week. It was hashtag live AEW Rampage. They were
Hashtag
live.
live.
Well, that's what it just kept showing at the top of the screen. Yeah, and I mean, Dynamite in Baltimore this week, according to my friend, had dark, then Dynamite, then dark again. And Rampage this week was on at 10 o'clock, but live in Atlanta. So I wonder what else was a Dynamite coming up. Taped? Like, I don't know
I feel
how
like they're definitely trying to do more with Rampage. Like
maybe they make Dynamite taped and Rampage live. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. But
tape shows usually don't do well, like in ratings wise.
Yeah.
Because you already know what's going to happen.
I mean, they never do.
People, like WCW, or you have people like WCW giving away the endings to the tape Raw show.
Eric Bischoff.
Brother. Don't tune in. Mankind wins the belt.
That'll put butts in the seats.
Yeah, that's the exact line, I think, from Tony Schiavone. So, okay, yeah. Anything else you want to add to that match, though?
No, I really liked it. I mean, I think Orange Cassidy's been having pretty good title matches, but you know.
Oh my god, I just realized I skipped over the daddy ass birthday bash on Dynamite. I went straight from Saraya to Jericho. There was a daddy ass birthday bash for good old Billy Gunn. And he's out there with his hands all bandaged up. He couldn't scissor because Swerve Strickland did something to him backstage. We'll never know exactly what he
did. Something to his ass.
To his daddy's ass's ass. So the Acclaim get daddy ass some presents. First one,
they picked one from the crowd.
They picked one from the crowd, and that was just someone's scissors that they made.
Yeah.
What else? They got him styrofoam scissor hands that you can get now when you're there.
Yeah.
Scissoring foam fingers. And then there was something else, though, that I feel like I'm missing. Something else that was on the table.
Oh, they were adopting.
There was adoption certificate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Daddy's and daddy. And that's when the Gun Club came out and we're like, we're not even invited to your own birthday, Dad. I'm trying to think if there's anything. Oh, there was a couple funny jokes. They were like, we tried to get some of your friends here, but they were mad that you didn't show up to the DX reunion. and then Billy Gunn's like, what? And then he does the suck it.
Yeah.
But in the end, it seems like FTR ended up coming out, and it seems like we're getting a future tease for FTR finally. Going after the belts with the Acclaimed. And now I'm kind of torn of like, I
was just going to say that.
And I like FTR.
I know. Because I was like, the Acclaim, they're so over right now with everything. So
I feel like it's too early to take the belts off them, but like FTR is FTR. I don't know. AEW's pay-per-views are so spread out. I don't remember exactly when Full Gear is, but
Full Gear is I think like another week or two.
They have a lot of matches then they need to make.
Yeah, this is. I was about to say this before, but like usually their build to the pay-per-views are very good. Like that's what they're good at.
This seems lackluster lately.
Yeah, it seems like they're kind of like, and this is the match.
Yeah, I mean, what do we have so far? The Jericho one for the ROH title I mentioned. We have Moxley and MJF.
Yeah.
And then that's all I can think of. Possibly Saraya and Britt Baker.
Probably, yeah.
Tony Storm and Jimmy Hayter.
I think so. And then the tag team is Swerve and Our Glory versus Acclaim.
Versus Acclaimed. Oh, okay, so FTR won't happen then.
Yeah,
that
so
pay-per-view.
that's why I'm like, hopefully it's not like some live event.
Winter is coming.
Yeah.
No, save it for the next one, which would be
that tag team name is
Revolution.
awful.
I guess.
Swerve in Our Glory.
Swerve in Our.
It's terrible. If you really think about it, it's just like, what does that even mean?
Well, I don't think that's gonna. I think after they lose again,
Yeah.
that they're gonna turn on each other, or Swerve's gonna turn on Keith Lee.
Somebody's
and-
turning on somebody after you lose that many times.
Well, that's kind of what they've been hinting at, is that Keith Lee wants to be, clean with like the losses or wins,
Yeah.
and Swerve is willing to kind of do anything. And so that's what I think is going to happen. Swerve is going to go heel, and they'll have a match probably at Revolution, or they'll save it for Winter is Coming. Booker Andy out. So let's get into Crown Jewel, guys. I was over at Tim's house Saturday, and we watched it Saturday night. It started at 12 p.m. over here on the East Coast. Me and Tim talked to my dad on the phone right beforehand, and he was like, "Didn't Brock Lesnar wrestle?" And we were like,
Oh,
"Yeah,
God,
he
he
wrestled."
ruined.
We hadn't watched it yet, and he was like, "Yeah, he won." And I was like, "Oh," I was like,
We're
"You
like, Dad,
motherfucker!"
what the hell?
He's
We're
like,
like,
"Oh, I'm sorry."
But then
God
I was
damn
like,
it.
I mean, we knew he was gonna win, but it's like at the same time, it's like we avoided spoilers all day. We were literally just
All
about
day.
to
I
start the
unfollowed.
show.
I unfollowed WWE. I unfollowed Logan Paul.
My dad, who doesn't watch wrestling, but for whatever reason loves Brock Lesnar and has since.
He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry."
2002.
He's like, "Oh, he lost. He lost." I was like, "No,
I'm like,
no take backs."
That's funny.
So Crown Jewel opened up with that Brock Lesnar Bobby Lashley match that my dad ruined. All right, let's talk about this match. Wasn't good. Let's. I don't think it was good. At least big moves. I think
really.
I counted like 4 spears from Bobby within like the first minute or two.
Yeah, which I kind of half
The
expected.
finish
but-
was not good. It was confusing.
I
I
thought
had
it
to
was way better.
rewind just to make sure I saw what I saw. Bobby Lashley had Brock in a hurt lock. Brock went up to the turnbuckle, kicked off of it, fell on top of Bobby, back to his stomach, and the ref, while Brock was in the hurt lock, the ref counted 1, 2, 3, even though Bobby's shoulders clearly were not down. They were up. And the announcer was like, "Bobby's shoulders are down." No, they weren't. I re-showed Tim. I was like, "This is what happened."
It's like, he has some big
They were up
shoulders.
because he had him in the hurt lock like this. They were off the mat. Afterwards,
Yeah.
Bobby got mad and ended up, putting Brock in a hurt lock himself. So, is this the end of them feuding? I don't know. But Brock Lesnar came out on top. Well, he was on top for the pin, technically. But not a fan of this match.
This feels like a match for the Prince or Saudi
Maybe he
Arabia.
books all the matches. I don't know. Yeah.
He books these ones.
Over there. So wasn't really a fan of this one, to be honest. Our next match was for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. It was Asuka and Alexa Bliss, who just won the belts on Monday, versus Damage Control. I thought the match was all right. I thought it was okay. They put the belts back on Damage Control in the end. I don't know why take it off of them in the first place.
I don't get that.
Maybe to give them a reason to get a rematch is the only logic I can think behind it.
Yeah. I never liked those back and forth within like a week.
Yeah, I don't know. Damage Control came out on top, and they are now champions once again.
That was a weird start to
Any
the
thoughts on the
pay-per-view, really.
match, guys, before moving to the next one?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was alright, like you said, but I thought their one on
I agree.
Raw was better.
I agree. After that, we had Drew McIntyre versus Karrion Kross in a steel cage match. I mean, I told Tim while we were watching, I hate the door being on the cage. I know cage matches outside WWE, you're supposed to be in there. There's no escape. Pinfall or submission only.
Yeah.
It's supposed to keep you in.
Because that door... Yeah. That door
supposed to be
bit gets
dead,
like old so fast.
Well,
A fight to the death.
so as a whole, I mean, the match wasn't bad. It wasn't great.
Yeah. I thought it started very
I think
slow,
I liked it
so-
better than the strap match they had. just because I really don't like
Yeah,
strap matches.
I like that. Yeah, that's true.
I feel like you're kind of hindered. But again, you're in a cage. You should be kind of hindered as well of what you can do. Can't leave the ring. Hinder, ginger. Don't hinder, ginger. But this time, Karrion Kross won their strap match.
Whatever happened
No
to Jinder?
cares.
What's Jinder doing these days?
He's
Jinder
gone.
was a big part of our podcast when we first started. We would talk about Jinder often.
Don't hinder him. So Drew McIntyre ended up winning this match. It was almost like they tried to escape at the same time, and Drew got to the floor first. Now I can't remember. One came through the door and one climbed over the top. I want to say Karrion Kross was trying to come through the door, and Drew climbed over top and got there first. Or it was vice versa. But
Yeah, I think
I'm like
so.
90% sure Drew climbed, and Drew.
Well,
got
either way,
out
Drew-
first.
yeah.
Drew, I think online or in an interview, said that he's done with Karrion Kross now. He's probably not, because there needs to be a third match then, because they've each won one. So we'll see what it comes down to in the end. Survivor Series, I don't know if it will go there, because they usually do the opposite kind of matches, champions, or teams, whatnot.
Yeah.
All right, next we had Braun Strowman versus Omos. All right, winner was Braun Strowman. The match wasn't
Wait, do you want to go over the OC
I'm
first?
skipping matches.
OC versus Judgment Day?
OC versus Judgment Day. Now, right away, the announcers acknowledged the Bullet Club. Michael Cole acknowledged word for word the Bullet Club, and then after the one time, he just said the club. I don't know if it was a mistake of mentioning the actual Bullet Club, talking about Balor being the leader, and he said he's the founder of Bullet Club. He's like, and then Luke Gallows and Anderson were members of the club, and then they kept saying the club, the club, the club. I enjoyed the match. I like both teams a lot. I don't think Judgment Day should have won, because OC's just kind of been losing every week, really, on Raw, individual member wise. Speaking of, they're coming
Told you
right
they were gonna
now,
win.
or Judgment Day's coming out right now on Raw. They're probably going to brag about winning. I liked the moments of AJ versus Finn. Those are always fun. Carl Anderson can kind of wrestle any style, which is cool to see. Rhea Ripley was in full bondage gear on the outside.
Yeah, because especially in Saudi Arabia, where the women have to
had
always
to be
cover
over
everything.
there.
It was tight black leather. Jesus, she was like a dominatrix over there, which is kind of like the weird character she's been playing with Dominic. Dominatrix.
That is
Dominic.
true.
Dominatrix.
So yeah, Judgment Day won, and I enjoyed the match.
You ever seen a woman
Any
in tight
thoughts on that?
leather?
I thought this was the best match
So
of
far,
the
I was
pay-per-view
gonna say,
so
on the
far at
card,
that
no
point.
way. But so far, I'd agree.
Yeah,
I'd agree.
yeah, no, so far.
After that, we had Braun Strowman versus Omos. Match wasn't terrible. I've seen worse big guy matches. If you ask Braun Strowman, it's a 5-star match. Because of no flippy
just
flops.
pissed me off
He needs to
after
be taken off of Twitter. He got himself in trouble before when he was with WWE
does.
on Twitter. Braun,
Wait, what did he say?
just talking shit about indies,
What did Braun say?
basically. Yeah.
Again?
Indie guys. He was like, see, Omos, we don't have to do flips to get a good star matches. Right, Dave? Like,
We don't need to do this.
we're not finished. We're not
We
finished,
just
Omos.
need to run into each other. We need to pick each other up.
It was fine. I mean, apparently backstage they got, praises. Oh, Finn is in the ring with Rollins right now. Looks like he wants to go after the United States title. I'm kind of in.
That'd be a good match. Yeah.
And I don't know who I'd root for. Yeah, so Braun Strowman got one over on Omos. I was hoping he was going to win. I don't care for Omos. But that's just...
Yeah. I mean, at this point right now, I don't care for either of them, because even before this, Braun Strowman wasn't doing anything.
Well, the next match became my favorite up until this point. It might be one of my favorites next to the main event on the pay-per-view. I haven't decided between the two. Usos versus Brawling Brutes for the Undisputed Tag Team Championships. This match was awesome. I don't. They're great. Usos are.
This was a great match.
Fantastic. And I don't think that's anything new.
But they can wrestle any style as well.
Rich Holland is really starting to get better. Pete Dunne, Butch, whatever you want to call him, is always great, and he was really good with them in this match. I felt like everyone had their moment. There was, sometimes they almost got me. The crowd was really into it. It was awesome. It was really good. So if you...
Yeah, this is the best match up to this point. Again, I also like the main event the best, but this was my second favorite one.
Yeah. Tim,
I kind of hate how much I like.
From what you saw, Tim, during this match, I know you were writing music at this time, possibly. I think Tim does multitask. If you watch anything with Tim, he'll be doing something else, whether it's doing social media for us as on the pod or he's writing music. Tim does multiple things.
Podcast musician, collector, and barber.
He has cut my hair while watching wrestling too. That is, yeah. So, from what you saw, Tim, did you? Yeah, this match I thought was good.
No, if we're gonna get real on the pod real quick, hang on, let's get real serious for a second. We're gonna bring the tone down. No, but I'm actually a super anxious person, so I have to be doing like 4 things at once and keep my brain busy, and that's like how I.
So then, what's it like to watch something with me, Tim?
It's like. Hard because you are we call you strict
Andy. I tell you, put your phone down, watch this shit. Whether it's wrestling, a movie, I fucking hate it. I hate it.
Do anything else.
You sound like such a fun person to watch stuff with.
Look, if you pick something for me to watch and I give it my full undivided attention, when it's my turn, I expect you to do the same.
See, Andy says that, but then I'll try to show him like a Ric Flair match, and then I'll see him like texting somebody.
Because then I see you. Because I see you on your phone. So then I'm like, it's all it's fine to do. Apparently, he doesn't care. Oh, Mia Yim's back. Shit, I just spoiled for next week. Do you see on the TV?
Yeah, you
Lee's
did.
Wife. Yeah,
you just ruined the show for everybody.
And cut.
I don't know what people.
Well, it's
how
funny.
people
I just read an article
night.
today saying WWE thinking about bringing her back. So, well, she was just an Impact, a couple times recently. I don't think she signed anything, but she was on television, on the telly. Next match was Bayley versus Bianca Belair. Oh, finally, we're getting AJ fighting Finn 1-on-1. Sorry, I'm like a squirrel right now. I know.
Yeah, stay
Bayley
on this
versus
one
Bianca
right
Belair in the last women's standing match. I hate how long last women's standing matches go. All right, I saw how much time was left in the pay-per-view because we had watched it not live. I was like, God, this match is going to be fucking forever. Yeah. Though I didn't expect the main event to go as long as it did. That went. Props to Logan Paul, by the way, for going that long in a match, like on your third match, like that. It takes a lot. There was a spot in this match, and I remember showing Tim or rewinding it for Tim because he missed it. It was a table spot. I don't know if you remember, where Bianca or Bayley. No, Bianca pulls. Who hit? Now I'm confused. Bianca pulled Bayley off of the golf cart. Yes, because Bianca drove Bayley down the ramp, and Bayley was grabbing onto the top. Pulled Bayley off the golf cart and was supposed to flip off onto the table that was set up. Well, she did not hit the table. Most of her weight was on, or she hit the table, but it's not where you should. It was almost like when Shawn Michaels broke his back on the casket against The Undertaker. She hit her back on like the very edge of it.
Yeah.
Tim, do you remember this spot?
Looks bad.
Do you remember I showed you?
Yeah, because as soon as you said that, you said Shawn Michaels. You were like, "Oh, Shawn Michaels."
Yeah.
She like hit her back of the like. Let's hope not, though. We don't want her being out with an injury for 4 years.
I haven't read anything. It seems like she's fine. Usually if there's an injury like there was in the main event,
I think so.
They it leaks right away. I expected Bayley to win, but she did not in the end. Bianca retained once again. Just the way they've been showing Bayley on TV a lot, and I thought maybe Damage Control was going to have all the titles at one point, at least for the women's division.
Yeah, I thought
they did not go that route. Overall, the match, in my opinion, it was all right. But after you just get, I don't know if it's because the Usos match was so good right beforehand. I'm like, it's one of those things,
It was part of that.
Has something to do with it.
Yeah.
Afterwards, we had it had been announced that Bray Wyatt was going to show up to Crown Jewel, and he came out, cut another promo. God, his promos now all meshed together. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah. They're all really good.
I can't remember exactly what he said. I just know we heard Uncle Howdy actually talk more than one sentence this time.
Yeah.
I'm not sure anymore if it is Bo Dallas because it really sounded like Bray.
I feel like it's Bray.
And again, like I said before, the seeds are being planted. Makes me curious of where they're going from here, but because I really don't know. Everything's still super cryptic to me. I don't know if he's talking to us, himself, or someone else that is off screen. When he's doing these promos.
Yeah, that's why I feel like it's him in all these different versions.
Could be a different guy doing a different promo every week that we don't know.
Yeah, but like a serious Mankind and all of his different versions.
All right, let's talk about this. Dude, a phenomenal main event. All right, A+. I
hate Logan Paul, but it's still
Logan Paul was great. Logan Paul, this was his third match. Logan Paul is much better than Dominic Mysterio. Yeah. It is by far the best. Is by far the best celebrity match I've ever seen in WWE. Roman Reigns looked better than I've seen him. I mean, he's great, but he looked awesome in this. He sold very well. Even walking up the ramp after, he was still grabbing the side of his jaw, from the punch from Logan Paul. I am a fan of Logan Paul now. When it comes to his matches, he was
his
I don't care about his his YouTube channel and his stuff and his followers,
And I only care about his podcast when he has wrestling.
Check out HBK. He just had him on there. And he did the kip up. He went for his Sweet Chin Music. Because he had been training with HBK, so he wanted to do some of that.
Yeah. But I'll say that one spot, the frog splash on the table on the outside when he was holding the phone recording it.
Yeah.
Did you see that angle of him holding it?
One? Yeah.
That looked insane.
Crazy. I mean, he should have. I mean, I saw that he surprised. Sorry, I'm watching a commercial right now for Survivor Series War Games, and it said the competitors. I thought they were about to give away all the competitors in the match. Sorry.
Oh my god. But the other spot I'll say is the springboard lariat. Is that what it is? The one that Hangman does.
I mean, he did
Logan Paul did this.
That I thought better than Hangman.
And Hangman taught him that when he was over in Japan.
When was he over in Japan wrestling?
But he wasn't. I mean, it wasn't I don't think wrestling.
When the fuck did Hangman
but
meet
Logan Paul was.
Why were they around each other?
I don't know. But everyone I saw that, and then everyone's like, "Yeah, this is from when he taught him how to do it."
The apprentice has surpassed the master. Let's say that. It was like a quick flip, and the intensity behind it was just very fast, and the clothesline was very
Well, he's definitely like a longer person than like Hangman, so he can he'll flip it. And
well,
then
he can do the
hit
standing
force from it.
moonsault. He can, it could be a smoke and mirrors thing where Roman made it look really good. Of course, it takes two. I say it a lot, but I think training with HBK day in and day out. Also, you're training with one of the, if not the best of all time. If you ask Tim, it's definitely the best of all time. Right, Tim?
I don't even want to acknowledge that sentence.
What do you mean? HBK is your favorite wrestler of all time.
Oh, I thought you said that. Sorry, I'm sorry. I thought I misheard. I thought you said Logan Paul.
I said that's what happens when you train with the best of all time. I said Tim would say that it's the best. He's the best.
No, okay. I was about to say, Andy, I don't know what crack you're smoking over there, but give me some.
But when you train with the best of all time, I'm sure you're gonna come out pretty well.
No, Sean's the best of all time.
Yeah, I'm sure you're gonna come out pretty well when you do that. So, so Tim,
Shawnee
you watched the
boy.
match today because you fell asleep on me. Give me your thoughts.
I did. No, I thought it was great. What I really liked was the Superman punch spot where Logan was coming off the top, and then Roman was like underneath. There was a cool picture I saw from it that was taken later that it was like perfectly
Logan
timed.
Paul
It just was a
posted
very cool visual. Yeah, it was awesome.
There was at the end though that I almost thought I was like maybe they fucking put the belt on Logan Paul, but Roman kicked out.
I mean, maybe there was like a 0.5%. I might have thought
fair.
that, but
you know, if Vince was still there, he'd be like, "Oh man, pal, I think it's time."
So let's talk about
Vince
the people that got involved though. Usos, come out and they take out Logan Paul's friends who weren't really even getting involved in the match. They were just talking shit, and they just take these friends and throw them over the barrier. Dude, they beat the shit out of them for a quick second. They kick the shit out of them to get out of the ring. They dude, I don't know. They just, what I'm saying. They just basically fucking tore him up for a second. And then Jake Paul came out, and we all know he's the boxer. I hate him more than Logan Paul. He just seems like the douche brother. Even more of a douche than Logan Paul. He just seems like super dude.
him and his fake boxing matches.
Yeah, the boxing matches against MMA fighters.
Yeah, retired MMA fighters
that are like 50.
Yeah. But he came out, and then, then Solo Sikoa came out, and in order to make both still look good, they didn't end up interacting with one another. But Jake Paul punches both the Usos and kind of takes them out for a little bit. But when it came to Solo Sikoa, they did not want, to tarnish that whole. They call him like a street god or street fighter kind of, the street champ.
Yeah,
I think is what they call him, or at least did in NXT. So I don't know if we're gonna
so
get Jake Paul in the WWE. I hope not. I really
hope not.
But yeah, shortly after that, that altercation with Solo and Jake, Logan goes to the outside of the ring and then comes back in and gets taken out right away by Roman with a Superman punch and then a spear, and then it was 1, 2, 3. Good match, fun match. I was really impressed with Logan Paul, and I think everyone, if you're telling yourself that you're not impressed with him, you're lying. You're just lying if you don't think the match.
Yeah, we all
as
hate
a wrestler,
wrestling
fan, and if you're saying that was a bad match, you're lying to yourself. So give props where give credit where credit's due, and yeah, I thought the pay-per-view as a whole, it had some misses, probably more misses than hits, but I thought the stuff that was really good was actually really good.
Yeah, I think the stuff that was meant to be good, like the main event and the title matches were probably the best
good.
part of it.
Yeah, so that wraps it up for me too.
Well, if that wraps it up. I'm going to do our classic show of the week, which this week, it's going to be pretty simple. I'm choosing WrestleMania 18, and for not only, or if for only the big reason here being you need to watch The Rock versus Hulk Hogan. It's the return of Hulk Hogan to WrestleMania, and he's facing The Rock in a amazing match. These guys aren't out there doing, 5-star Dave Meltzer moves or anything like that, but I will say that the way that they have the crowd in the palm of their hand is absolutely incredible. And, I think that's going to wrap up episode 59. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us. We had a great time talking to you, and please join us next week for episode 60. I can't believe we're on episode 60. That is crazy. Go watch some wrestling. Have a great, relaxing week, and join us next week. Thank you. Bye-bye, everybody.